What's up, guys? Welcome to the show. This is the Arnell Agenda. I'm your host, Lawrence Arnell. I want to thank you all for checking in. I appreciate your time and your attention. It does not go unnoticed. Y'all could be anywhere in the world. Y'all here with me, and I thank you for that. I wanted to talk to y'all today because it's the day after Christmas, first day of Kwanzaa, however you want to spend it, right? Yesterday was Christmas Day, and I was home doing what we do on Christmas, taking pictures, shooting videos, posting them online, watching my social media, watching all my friends and family enjoying their holiday with their loved ones. And I noticed a video that's been going around on social media recently. I took the video and I posted it, and I asked the question to my Facebook friends, what would you do in this situation? The video in question is that of the flight from hell. And when I say flight from hell, I mean in no uncertain terms. The flight from hell. The video is from a cell phone of a passenger on a flight, an 8-hour flight from Germany to Newark. And there is a child of what appears to be toddler age on this flight, screaming at the top of his lungs for the duration of an 8-hour flight. Screaming. Now, this is my first time doing this on the agenda. I'm putting this video up here. I need y'all to see this. I'm going to let it run while we talking. Screaming at the top of his lungs for 8 hours. The stamina of this kid. Okay. Just imagine if this kid learns to channel this ability. All right, these golden pipes. But this child is screaming for 8 hours for the duration of a flight from Germany to Newark. And apparently all the kid's mom did to bring this to some sort of resolution is she asked him to sit down and be quiet. She asked him to sit down and be quiet. Listen, she asked him to sit down and be quiet. I need y'all to let that sink in, because again, my question to y'all was, what would you do in this situation? Because I feel like I know what I would do in a situation like this. I feel like I know how I would have handled it, but I'm me. Y'all not me. So I reached out and I got some pretty interesting answers. All right. Some of my Facebook friends, I'll tell you what I found really interesting in the answers that I got in my Facebook post, because I have friends from all walks of life. I have friends from all different areas of professionally speaking, and from different parts of the world, different cultures, different races, and there didn't seem to be much of a cultural divide in the opinions that I received when it came to how people felt about what they were witnessing. Everybody seemed to be on the same page that this woman was out of pocket for even bringing this kid on the plane in the first place. Like, she must have known that her kid was not flight friendly. You had to know this. But what I want to know is, what's the rules about snitching over international waters? I need to know. I need to know what the no snitching rule is. All right. I want to know who gonna snitch if somebody go ahead and handle this the way most of us seem to feel like it needed to be handled. I want to know who gonna tell. If she took little man into the bathroom and chloroformed him or put him in a legit sleeper hole and brought her back out, who gonna tell? Who gonna say something? You know what I mean? Is there an air marshal on board? Somebody that's going to actually take like legal action, or is he going to be just as relieved as anybody else? Because I don't understand how this woman let her child behave this way in public for this long without taking any sort of drastic measures. It's one thing to be, anti-spanking with no, corporal punishment. It's another thing to let your child basically terrorize a flight. That's not something that's making sense to me. You know what I mean? I personally am fortunate. I'm very fortunate, okay, because my children have had proper use of language, extraordinary use of language for as long as they've had language available to them. Okay, my children were literally spoken to in conversational terms from the minute they came into this world. I will admit this was not my idea. It was not my idea to talk to my kids like regular people when they were in strollers and unable to really respond, but it was genuinely effective. Language works. Language works. For as long as my children have been able to use words, they've been able to say, I am unhappy because, I am upset because, and express themselves and get in return logical solutions to whatever their problem is. I realize that is not something that everybody else is able to do for one reason or another. But what I must say is that, I know how I would have handled this. I know I would have handled this. All right, they would have had to make a water landing if I was on that plane. Look, man. Oh, man, it just don't make sense. This is crazy. Like, we would have had a Sully moment if I was on that plane. All right, we got to take this thing. Something's got to give. Okay, are the flight attendants required to report that you took your kid into the bathroom and put him in a sleeper hold? Like, who gonna say something? That's what I'm lost about, is who's gonna say something. Who on that plane? How did nobody on that plane approach this woman and demand better of her in the handling of her child? The sheer level of patience from the other passengers on this plane is superhuman, almost. They far better than I am, and I consider myself fairly stoic and very well composed. But there's only a certain level. There's only a certain amount of composure you're going to get when you're letting your child terrorize an entire flight full of people. It's just not going to go down like that. The boy grandma obviously wasn't on that plane. His grandma obviously wasn't on that plane, okay? Because they'd have lost cabin pressure if his grandma was on that plane. I know it. Whether he was American, or German, whichever country they was from, if his grandmother was on that plane, they would have lost some cabin pressure in there. There would have been some mass dropping from the roof. Listen, it's out of control, man. No, I don't understand it. I don't understand how nobody went to that woman and demanded any more. I don't know how she has not come to some sort of understanding of her child and his level of behavior, and why she wasn't more prepared for what he was doing. See, I am prepared. I'm a prepared individual, especially when it's time to fly. I travel like I know y'all don't know how to control y'all children on airplanes. I travel under the assumption that this kid's on the plane with me, okay? I got my earbuds, and I ain't talking no over-the-ear noise canceling. I'm talking about rubber tip, noise, isolation, ear popping, push them in, music blasting, and a backup battery for my joint, because I don't trust y'all. I don't trust y'all. I don't trust you to shut your kid up. And this is Exhibit A. I'm on to something, okay? I'm on to something. I got my thing down. This kid, 8 hours. 8 hours. That's a shift. All right? That's a night's sleep. You know how many people was counting on sleeping for that 8 hours from Germany to Newark? At least half that plane was anticipating catching sleep so that they were not jet lagged when they got back here. That's a night's sleep. That's a tour. That's a shift. No. Listen, unless this kid is of special needs. And I had one comment from a Facebook friend of mine who said that her son is on the spectrum, and even she understands that if your kid is not flight friendly, you make special arrangements for your kid. You fly when you know it's his bedtime. You fly when you know it's appropriate for him. You do not subject an entire plane full of people to what is basically parental terrorism. This is parental terrorism. Listen, mark it today, December 26th, 2019. I closed the year with new terminology. I invented it. This is parental terrorism. That's what this is. This is parental terrorism. She terrorized that plane with her rotten child. And so even if he is on the spectrum, that mom made the mistake. She neglected to fly at a time when it was appropriate for her. Now, I don't know what's going to happen with the rest of these passengers. I don't know what measures they're going to take, whether or not they need to be making some legal claims for some reimbursement. Honestly, it sounds like a bunch of people need to be flying for free for a while. Sound like some free plane tickets need to come through. I don't know what airline it was, but whoever it was, sound like somebody got some free airline tickets coming. All right, some sort of some restitution. All right, but that's just my take. It's my show, so I get to tell my opinion. Now, I got a comment section. You get to tell yours. Talk to me. How would you handle it? Do you travel with chloroform? Can you even get that on the plane? I guess if it's in a bottle less than 3 ounces, I mean, do they check to see what that liquid actually is? As long as it's less than 3 ounces, you can bring it on the plane, right? So what's to stop you from bringing a little chloroform on the plane? You know your son don't know how to act. You could bring 3 ounces of chloroform on that plane and put his ass to sleep so everybody ain't got to miss their sleep and get back to Newark all jet lagged because little Gunther wouldn't shut the hell up on the plane. 3 ounces of chloroform. He a toddler. Damn it. How I just solved that problem? How I just solved that problem that fast? Y'all tell me. Bring your 3 ounces of chloroform? Or you prefer like a proper chokehold move? He got a little neck. I don't know if you even gonna get that on like you want to. But 3 ounces of chloroform probably would have brought this whole thing to a wrap. That's just me in my opinion. I don't know. You tell me. Let me know what y'all thinking. Listen, I appreciate y'all joining me today. This has been the Arnell Agenda. I'm your host, Lawrence Arnell. I love and appreciate your time and attention. Don't you ever forget it. And please, whatever you do good first. And I'll catch y'all on the next one.